This morning, we're tracking several fires still burning in our state. In Lake County, the Willow Fire has burned more than 2,100 acres west of Leadville. This week, emergency crews went door to door in a pre-evacuation zone around the flames. At last check, there is still no containment. No word on how it started either.
We do have a positive update on the Snyder Fire this morning. That's the one burning near Utah. It is now 49% contained and all evacuations are lifted. And the smoke with this fire is actually helping a bit. For firefighters, it's kind of keeping the sun off those firefighters' backs. It's actually keeping temperatures lower in that area. Tonight, by the way, there will be a community meeting to update neighbors on the firefight.
The most concerning, the Aspen Acres Fire. It's burning in southern Colorado right now. 47,000 acres have been scorched so far across Pueblo and Custer counties. As firefighters struggle to get a handle on this, the people who live in the area are starting to find out what they've lost. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joining us live to talk more about this. So Courtney, at this point, a lot of people are left with that really difficult decision, right? They either have to rebuild or simply move on.
Yes, that's right, Corey and Drew. Families have lost their homes, and now to even add more salt to the wound, some of them are unsure whether they're going to be able to afford to rebuild. So we've been dealing with a lot of smoke and air pollution from these wildfires. You can see behind me here, it's really hard to even make out the mountains this morning. So let's take a look at what's causing all of this. Truly devastating to see this. On Monday, mandatory evacuations forced Tara Stosek and her husband to pack up and go as the fire got closer to their Beulah home. Despite years of wildfire mitigation, their home was more than one of more than 125 buildings lost in Pueblo County. Because of wildfire risk in the area, insurance is either unavailable or unaffordable for many homeowners. Now Tara is staying in Pueblo, trying to figure out whether they can afford to rebuild, sell at a loss, or leave the community where they've lived for the last 25 years. She was planning to retire in 3 years. Her home was paid off a couple of years ago. Around the same time, their insurance company chose not to renew them.
I hope that the town can rebound. I believe it can because it's such a special place. But my concern is just for a lot of, not only myself, but a lot of people and the community itself.
Residents are not being allowed back into the evacuation zones, so many families may not know what their properties look like right now or their homes. So yesterday, fire officials said extremely dry fuels, relative low humidity, and strong winds have made the fire difficult to slow down. They said the fire will likely continue to grow until crews can gain control of the perimeter. So now we're going to head over for a look at our weather today with Katie LaSalle. Good morning, Katie.
Morning, Courtney. Thank you for that update. And at last check, around 100,000 acres in our state currently burning with multiple wildfires. You can see where the Aspen Acres Fire is currently there in Custer. Pueblo counties will be impacted by smoke, and a lot of that smoke and haze rolling into the Front Range from our Central Mountain Fire near Leadville, and also out west, the Snyder Fire continuing to burn across the western slope. Now, we do not have a red flag warning in effect for Grand Junction, but a lot of Colorado, South Fork, Colorado Springs, Aspen, down through Crested Butte, another day of high fire danger. We've seen red flag warnings all week long for a big portion of western and southwestern Colorado based on the warmth, the dry conditions, and the winds. Now, the winds have been a bit gusty this morning out across the eastern plains. We saw a line of storms rolling to the northeast overnight, but it is dry, a little more cloud coverage and higher humidity this morning. So we have little breaks in the morning, at least, where the humidity levels have risen and the winds are calmer, especially in the mountains. But another day of patchy smoke here for the metro area. Sunny skies for the most part with low 90, some clouds out there this morning, but UV index high and air quality alerts in place for not just wildfire smoke, but ground level ozone. So we get these action days for multiple pollutants. Visibility, if it is less than 5 miles in your neighborhood, smoke is unhealthy, just period. So remain indoors, limit outdoor activities. We'll be talking more about storm chances in the forecast and looking ahead to the 4th of July coming up in just a few. Brianna.
Katie, thank you so much. Happy Thursday, everyone. 6:03 is your time, and we are taking a live look right now from 270 at York Street, so between Vasquez and Quebec, heading towards I-25 or I-70. Slow moving. That morning rush hour traffic started to pick up in this area, and that's usually what we start to see right around this time. You can see just the line of cars that we are seeing along 270 for anyone trying to get from I-25 heading towards I-70. Let's switch things over to our main maps because we are tracking one crash that's happening way out near Denver International Airport. This is happening right at the intersection of Tower Road and 56th Avenue. You can see that 2 vehicles were involved, and we do have crews there on scene. There is some heavy front end damage to one of the vehicles that's sitting in the middle of the intersection, so we do have debris just scattered on the roadway right now. We do have crews there on scene. No lanes are shut down. It's just kind of like that right lane as soon as you turn along 56th Avenue where you're going to see crews there on scene. Other parts of the metro area, we are quiet this morning up and down I-25 as well as E-470 into C-470 and the Morrison area. Right now, we're not dealing with any issues.
All right, thanks, Brianna. This morning, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office is asking for help as they look for a man who they say assaulted a 73-year-old hiker. They say it happened on the Boulder Creek Trail earlier this week. Investigators saying that the hiker was attacked all because of marijuana. That happened on Monday. The Sheriff's Office saying that the victim asked a woman to share her joint. She said okay, and the victim did give the joint back, but deputies say the woman's boyfriend repeatedly confronted the victim at that point, eventually attacking him from behind, and he lost consciousness. He was taken to the hospital. Deputies say his wallet was also stolen. So investigators now say the attacker is a man in his 20s with brown hair. He's about 5'6", they say, 130 pounds. If you know anything about this, give the Boulder County Sheriff's Office a call.
Governor Jared Polis has fired the Clemency board members who urged him not to free Tina Peters. Polis says it's because the board breached confidentiality by sharing their votes in a newspaper op-ed. In that piece for the Denver Post, 2 board members wrote that the board unanimously denied Peters' request for clemency. They also said Polis stepped in front of other applicants who, in their view, deserved clemency and had exhausted their appellate rights. 2 of the fired board members who spoke to 9 News say they felt the firings were political.
A former Colorado Bureau of Investigation DNA analyst's guilty plea could lead to a murder conviction being overturned. Yvonne Missy Woods admitted to perjury and other felonies after investigators say she altered DNA data and failed to disclose evidence in hundreds of different cases. Now, one of those cases sent Ryan Hicks to prison for life after a 2014 murder conviction. Hicks' attorney wants a judge to order the release of the case files. They're arguing that Woods' false testimony undermines a key part of the prosecution's case. Jefferson County prosecutors say they won't release the files, though, until a court orders them to.
The city of Inglewood will keep its 4th of July fireworks show as planned for now. City Council met last night to decide whether to cancel the pyrotechnics. 4 voted to keep the show, arguing there's a safety plan in place. 3 voted against it, worried about the fire danger, pointing out that the fire marshal recommended canceling.
I don't know how we can justify sitting up here and saying we want to have fireworks when our police department itself posted a level 2 fire ban today. I just don't think that that's congruent. And now we, in addition to that, have our fire marshal who is additionally saying that he does not recommend it.
I believe that there is a fail-safe plan in place. It's been that we can stop even up to the last minute. And I believe that that is sufficient.
According to the fire marshal, officials weigh weather, staffing, and the stage of fire bans when making these calls. The city says they could still call it off closer to the show time.
We know there are many cities at this point all across the state that are not having fireworks shows this weekend. More than 45 professional fireworks displays have either been canceled or postponed because of the dry conditions. Colorado Springs and Pueblo are the latest. You can find a full list of canceled shows as well as ongoing shows on our website, 9news.com, or you can simply take out your phone right now and text that number you see at the bottom of your screen. You can text the word fireworks to 303-871-1491.
Denver Summit FC is getting a new goalkeeper. This week, the team announced they acquired Kat Aspen on loan from the Orlando Pride. The 26-year-old was originally taken by Portland in the 3rd round of the 2024 NWSL draft. Before that, she played at Penn State, where she was a 4-year starter for the Nittany Lions.
At 6:08, we have the biggest weather story again here across Colorado. Fire danger high. This afternoon starting right at 12, lasting until 8 p.m. All areas shaded in red under a fire fire weather warning. Wind gusts around 30 miles per hour. Humidity levels will drop to around 6 to 10%. There's just a lot of dry fuels out there. Please avoid anything that could spark a fire, and more of that smoke billowing into the Front Range as we get into the afternoon. Storm chances also in the forecast. I'll take you through the futurecast coming up after the break.
And if you live, work, and have to drive down I-25 from the tech center to downtown or vice versa, right now, no issues to report up and down I-25. 11 minutes if you're heading north, only 12 if you're heading south.